Ciao, friends of JB World. I hope you are doing well. Look, I am a bit in a trouble today, and I will explain you why. Because today I have like 52 screens in the room. I took the computer of my son, so I'm looking here, I'm looking there. But who cares? The most important is that I'm able to read your comments in the chat because this is the most important interactivity. Today we have a lot of guests, really pleasant guests. I'm really happy to welcome Marco. You were here for the inauguration for the first one. So, ciao, Marco. How are you doing, buddy? You are on mute, Marco.
There we go. Now you can hear me.
Here we go.
Yeah, I said I'm happy to be back, man. Thank you. You guys have been doing an incredible job. I've been tuning in. I've been a viewer, even though I haven't been here live. I've been watching, so you guys are killing it.
Thank you, Marco. Really happy. We will talk also about something really incredible that we did together. We will take a few minutes to explain the people, even if I believe they know. Before presenting the other ones, we have Paolo, resident, who is also today in the chat showing the support. If I'm not wrong in the agenda, Paolo, you are there next week. He's not asking how I am doing, but he's asking how Christina is doing. Ciao, Christine. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
You are less
today.
enthusiastic as me. You're speaking about the last game of Inter.
I'm talking about everything. I'm okay.
Then we have Adam. Always a pleasure to have you. You were here last week as well.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay today because I'm hosting. But to be honest, I was super happy to have you on today. Why? Because it was not an easy one Sunday night. It was not an easy one. We will talk about that. And I know that you have some beautiful things to say about Chiesa and Morata. And we have a newcomer in the English format because it's also someone really well known and really asked on the Italian one. Ciao, Giovanni.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very happy to join you. I'm very happy to know every one of you because I follow every week, basically. So, yeah. Very happy to be here. It's been a very tough weekend because Brescia lost against Pisa, so I can understand you. When you lose with some Nerazzurri club, is always a very bad weekend.
It is. It is. For people, the English-speaking people that are here and that doesn't know, Giovanni is a really interesting man to listen to with a lot of really great insights about especially financial football and so on. I'm sure about that.
Even my mom doesn't introduce me like this.
Oh man, but I do because I have immense respect for you, Giovanni.
Oh, thank you.
He has one problem is that he's not a declared Juventus fan, but that will come. That will come. No worry about that. So who do we have in the chat before?
No, honestly, I have to be honest with you, Giuseppe. The only Juventus thing I have in my apartment is my Gianni Agnelli shirt because I like superheroes shirts. So I had to finish my collection of Marvel superheroes, and I have a Gianni Agnelli one, but I'm not Juventus fan.
If you have already a Gianni Agnelli shirt as a superhero, then you're at home. Ciao Alberto 7 Juve. Ciao Giulibbo. Victor Arthur is here. We have an Enzisso 9087. We have Giorgio Corona 91. We have Julian Dos Santos. Lot of people here as always. Thank you for your support even after a really difficult game as the last one that we had. We know and we will speak about that. So what we will do today, we'll speak about Inter Juve, what happened, our feelings. We will analyze the goals. We will go through the players because we will have to speak about Marquisio and Ramsey, the two number 8. We'll speak about the Rabiot's performance or not performance. We'll speak about a young guy that nobody knew. He came to Juventus, McKennie, and today he's like the savior. Someone that has to play, at least in my opinion. Let's see what the other think about that. We will speak about the Ronaldo, more a benefit or a detrimental to the team. We will see that, an update about Mercato. If you are really kind, maybe Luca Momblano will join as well. So that will be really nice. We'll speak about all those things and especially the Supercoppa versus Napoli, starting with Inter Juve. And now I will slow down. Inter Juve, a difficult game, and let me know also in the chat how you feel now after 2 days. What happened? I start immediately with Adam because I see your face in. Tell me, Adam, emotions after that game. Do you feel better? Still not.
No, it's you can't lose to Inter, can you? It's the worst. It's the worst of the worst. Even more so now with Conte there. It's even worse. And the position in the table, everything. It's Juve needed to win to at least keep a little bit closer. And just like against Fiorentina 2 weeks before, they never turned up in the match at all. It was a disaster from start to finish. Made Inter look really, really good. Just nobody really with a positive performance to take away from it. Maybe Szczesny, but it was just a bad game. Chiellini as well, obviously, but it was a bad game all around and some really, really terrible performances in there.
I heard the words of Pirlo today. He said that we played really well until we conceded. The problem is that we conceded at the 10th minute. Giovanni,
Yeah,
I see you laughing between people from Brescia.
no,
Is it
because there was a manager, a friend of mine, a manager who used to say it's been a great match, and then there has been the kickoff. So I mean, that's honestly, it's not. What happened against Inter is something that you can't justify. It's what happened, and let's turn the chapter. Let's change the book probably, and let's go on. I want to see now how the club reacts, how the managers, the C levels of Juventus are gonna react to this, because I think there is some plan for the future to do. Yeah, so not
But
just analysis of the match and so on. They have to look forward, because that's a huge problem now.
I agree with you, Giovanni. Christine, we had that big loss versus Fiorentina. We talked about it also here on JB World 3-0. After that, Pirlo, he had a big meeting with the players telling them that he won't accept to see a performance like that again. Fiorentina, we know that we conceded immediately, and we had a red card with Quadrado really early in the game. This time versus Inter, we had no red card, and okay, we conceded again a goal really quickly. How is it possible after 4 games, after a meeting like that with a manager, to fall again? Especially because Fiorentina, you can, you know, or you can be stronger than you think, and you can underestimate them. But Inter, you can't. So what happened psychologically?
uh, we've been erratic as hell all season. We're up, we're down, we're nowhere in between. We either play really well or we're absolute trash, and sometimes we win. Um, there's no real rhyme or reason to it. I get that he's worked on boosting morale and shifting things around, and when things are working, everybody seems to be really positive and happy. And when it's not working, we get what happened with Inter. Um, Unfortunately, with Inter, it's it's a lot of things that we're just lacking. Like we got absolutely bossed by their midfield. Like we don't have a 10. We don't have a pivotal player that's going to change things on a dime if things are going really wrong. Where we went in there 4-4-2 and Pirlo'd and Conte said, "Oh, hi." And that was it. It was a wrap. Um I don't think that it has anything to do, this particular game, with anything that could have been said before or after. Adam mentioned last week before we went into Coppa Italia with Genoa that we should have just let that one go. And we did the exact opposite, right? Like we hit the gas there. And also, it was clumsy. It wasn't even like we made that easy. Like we extended it and said, "Hey, this is terrible. Let's make it longer."
Yeah.
And then went into Inter without a single prayer. We had no Sandro, no Dybala, no Delict. It was every single possible variable that we could have had all season that went wrong, going wrong on the worst day for it to go wrong. Um, there's no
And
excuse for it,
immediately,
but it's not surprising.
it went immediately because I was talking to Marco before the game, and we're talking about our emotion about that game, and I said I was super confident. I know that Marco was also talking about a bit the same feeling. Marco, when did you notice in the game that it would have been or really difficult, or when you really lost hope that we could do it? Was there
My-
a particular moment, or you believed in it until the end?
My honest opinion, it's when I saw the lineups and I saw that midfield. I agree with Christine. When I saw the midfield that were going to go up against each other, I'm a big midfield guy. I think that dictates the game, that dictates the tempo. That was a moment that I didn't like it. And like, Giuseppe, we're talking with you and we're saying the thing about Juventus is that they could be in bad moments. You could lose versus Fiorentina, but Juventus has always come out with mentality. Like when you play against Inter, you get those emotions. We were talking about how your blood just gets boiling. You love to play those kind of games. We didn't. Like besides Chiellini, like Adam said, Chiellini was the only one who was showing some heart out there. And like, that's so unacceptable. For me,
actually, I would say McKennie too, but he got subbed on way too late. And that's not his fault.
I was literally fighting like the entire time for McKennie and Artur to start. For me, there is no midfield at Juventus without Artur and McKennie. I don't care what anybody says. McKennie actually breaks the line. He brings energy. He brings intensity. He's got a better understanding what it means to be at Juventus than some of the other guys. So for me, a midfield of McKennie and Artur are needed. And I was more disappointed that at 45 minutes, we watched 45 minutes of Juventus doing nothing. For me, I don't understand how they weren't put in right away. That's it. Not wait 5 minutes, not wait 10 minutes, wait for Inter to score the second goal. Right away, they should have came in.
I agree with you.
Can you pull up Paolo's quick question?
Yeah, that's
only because I don't think that Pirlo has a major responsibility for the poor performance, but I think that he has a major responsibility for some of the choices that he made too late and or too early. I think he just had a bad day managing.
Well, pay attention, because we have to be clear. McKennie was not even supposed to play. Yeah. We see Andrea, who is saying actually the same thing. He didn't train for all the week. We have to be realistic. He played in the second half, and to be honest, he was probably the only one together with Giorgio Chiellini that tried. And maybe Kulusevski.
Yeah, Kulusevski was good. I think this goes back to something we were saying last week though about Bentancur. Bentancur is not there. He's actively hurting the team with his. I don't want to use the word performance because I don't think you can call it a performance. And I think simply if you swap, Marco said about the midfields, the two midfields look so imbalanced. If you just swap Artur for Bentancur, that raises the level of Juve's midfield, which puts them on the front foot. Then Ramsey can make more of a difference. And in a lot of games when things are going well, Ramsey can do, we know this, we've watched him for years. Ramsey can do everything that McKennie has done before. They're basically the same player. But if the team is struggling, of course Ramsey's going to look bad. The same with Weston McKennie. If he would have started, it would have just been the same story because it wasn't. And this is the thing, and it's something I've touched on before, but it goes back to the whole thing of Pirlo being appointed to change the mentality of Juve. We're not trying to play boring 4-4-2 like Claudio Ranieri or trying to play 4-3-3 the way that Sarri did. Pirlo has come and he's trying to change the whole mentality of everybody at the club. He's playing a much higher defensive line. And we saw on Sunday, unfortunately, Leonardo Bonucci is completely lost in that formation. He's completely lost. He has no idea where he's supposed to be.
I have a question for you, Adam, and maybe also Giovanni. But first, I want to thank Loricino01 that gave us a raid. Thank you. I hope he can still see the thank word. I know that Luca and Juventus already thanked written, but I wanted to do it as well. But Adam, Giovanni, do you think it's a mistake of Pirlo of insisting in his really high pressure style when we know that probably the two aggressive high pressure guys are De Ligt and Demiral, and both of them were not playing because one was at home with COVID, the other one was not ready to play, and we see that he's not even now in the squad for the Supercoppa. Is it a problem of a young coach that want to insist in his ideas even if we have players that are not able to? And I want to immediately show you a picture. Wait, let me check this one. This is a really crazy picture. You see it like that because we see immediately Chiellini, who's not playing the offside at that moment. It's man marking Lukaku. We have Bonucci. It's not in the middle. Bonucci is on the right side, and then we have Rabiot in the middle. It's crazy.
It looks great. You can pull up a still like that from any match, from any team, the best team in the world, and you can catch them in a moment where it looks stupid. Bonucci is over there, Chiellini's over there, whatever. That happens to every team. I think the one thing that this comes back to for me is if you want to change, then you have to commit to that change. Sarri came last year with all his ideas of playing with Sarrismo and instilling Sarri ball at Juventus. And as soon as it got difficult, he didn't do it, and he played the same way that Allegri played. And the only thing that he really changed is he managed to get Dybala playing well because he made him stay up front. Pirlo, you can't say it's a problem because what he's doing is sticking to what he believes in the long term will work. And yes, in a game against Inter, a team with Antonio Conte, who's been playing exactly the same way since 2011 at Juve, you're going to come unstuck, fine. But if you change, then you have to change back next week, and then you struggle, and then you set back further. Yes, in the short term, it's going to hurt a lot more, but it's like ripping off a plaster. Just fucking do it. And it's going to mean some ugly, ugly matches like this. But if that shows you that some players can't play Pirlo's way, like Bonucci, if that shows you that a player like Bentancur is out of his depth, tough. I hate losing to Inter more than anybody. Before we came on air, I made Marco change his wall because he had an Inter shirt behind his head. I hate it. I detest it. But if that's what it takes to take this team forward and to keep going with what Pirlo's trying to do, because you look around the most successful teams in Europe, whether it's Liverpool or Atalanta, whoever, that's how they play. And it takes a while to get players who are used to that and who can do that and who can change and fit in that way. And it leads to some ugly performances. We see Atalanta every 4 or 5 weeks. They take a kick in from somebody, then they turn around and beat somebody else. And it's going to take time, but I think you have to applaud Pirlo for sticking with it. And it looks naive, but to me, it's braver than anything else, because you look at what happened with Sarri last season, and that's the alternative, is a coach who has ideas, but once it gets a little bit difficult, it's like, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to bottle this and I'm going to play 4-4-2 and I'm going to just defend and hopefully we can nick a goal with Ronaldo and it'll all be okay. And that doesn't help anybody.
I want to
ask Adam,
Giovanni,
honestly.
Giovanni, I will ask you the same question. You can say what you think, but I want also to add on top of that, and then we will do a vote with the guys on in the chat. But on top of that, I want to ask you, do you think that Pirlo can be the new Guardiola in terms of longevity at Juventus? Really a project Guardiola-esque, not the way we play, but really the project. Do you think that will be possible?
If Juve do what Atalanta have done, and I don't want to keep going back to that, but if Juve do what Atalanta and Liverpool have done, in every single thing that they do is geared towards making it work, and it doesn't matter. We've seen Atalanta this past month. Everything Atalanta do is based on the strength of their unit. Papu Gomez, their best player, spoke out against the coach, made a fuss. Straight away, Atalanta are like, fuck you, and he's gone. You know, it doesn't matter who the player is. And that's really what Juve need to do with a player like Bonucci right now, because it doesn't work. Just go. And if Juve do that, yes, Pirlo can be that guy. He can do that. He's proven in the game against Inter proves that more than anything. He's brave enough to stick with what he believes in. So yeah, he can be, but everything has to change in order for him to do that. And that's a huge commitment from Juventus.
There is a poll already on. So guys in the chat, you can already poll, is Pirlo the new Guardiola of Juventus? At the moment, we have the yes who's winning. And now I want to hear Giovanni about it.
No, basically. So first of all, even Guardiola had one bad year at Man City when he started, and they had to wait Guardiola. And what's the condition to have a new Guardiola? The condition to have a new Guardiola is that you have a strong club, a strong organization behind that is back to the manager every single day, never discuss the manager, always support the manager, always believe in what the manager does. But at Juventus in the last 30 years, we've seen two attempts to do this. One with another manager from Brescia, who was my Freddy, and we all know. And the second one has been last year with Sarri. So can he be the new Guardiola? Yes, he can. But he needs a strong club behind, strong management to support him that doesn't discuss every single... Honestly, this can be... My only thing is Juventus this kind of club? Juventus has to do like Atalanta, Juventus has to do like Liverpool, okay, I agree. Is Juventus the club who can stay 2, 3, 4 years waiting the development of this? Because that's what Jurgen Klopp in Italy, I don't know, Adam, if you know this, we have a famous journalist, Fabio Caressa, the most famous journalist in Italy. Before Liverpool-Barcelona 4-0, he was saying live on Sky that Jurgen Klopp was a great loser because he was going to lose. And after this match, he won 4-0. He won the Champions League, and then he won, and he was going to lose a Premier League for 1 point, 97 against 98 of Man City. So time, respect for the manager, respect for the job. But is Juventus, because I don't think that Juventus in his history had managers like Allegri, like Trapattoni, like Lippi, like Conte, because they just have been there, or Capello. It's because pragmatical football is in the DNA of Juventus, not because they have this DNA, but because when you have to win. My friend Aldo Dolcetti was the assistant of Allegri in the last 5 years. And he used to tell me, you know what, Giovanni, we only know one thing, that next Sunday we have to win, and next Wednesday we have to win, and next Sunday we have to win. Doesn't matter how. We are Juventus and we have to win. So you have to adopt a pragmatical approach to football, and that's what Juventus is. Of course,
I agree,
Pirlo can be, but Juventus is probably another thing.
Giovanni, I agree, but Christine, well, it's fine and it's all well if you want to build, but when we hear the words of the president, no, our ambition, our target, our objective is to win the 10th in a row. This is so important for us. Probably it's more symbolic than something real, but
forget it, Giuseppe. Forget the 10th. It's gone. Forget it.
I don't know. I'm a believer. I'm a positive believer. Am I the only one?
We're very good at winning, but having it be absolutely horribly disgusting. Like, it's not pretty at all, but we somehow still manage to win. That's been now just part of this legacy. But we're 7 points behind now. It could be worse? ? I don't know.
Yeah, just the only thing I would say with that is I think you have to always think why somebody is saying something in public, because players, coaches, presidents, they have to say what the fans want to hear, not just what they might think. And you have to look at what they actually do compared to what they actually say. And Andrea Agnelli saying Juventus have to win the 10th title is one thing to say on TV. But if you have to win the 10th title, you don't give the job to Andrea Pirlo, who's never coached a minute in his life. You get Allegri to come back, or you keep Sarri for a year. If you want 10, that's what you would do. If you wanted 10, keep Sarri, because with Sarri, we still win 10. Absolutely. Not a question. But if you want to do something different, if you want to change, if you want to make a real impact and be something special, then maybe you take a gamble and go for Andrea Pirlo. And like Giuseppe said, that would mean changing everything about Juventus. But you can't suddenly just come out and say, hey, guys, we've appointed this guy he's never coached before, so this year might be a little bit rough. You can't say that, Juve. Of course, you can't say that. You can do it.
No, because if you say that, you are giving excuses, and then you are sure that we will finish not 4th, but we will finish probably 15th, and that's a fact. But am I the Marco? Am I the only one that is still believing in the 10th? Because I see that Tariq is helping me in the chat. But am I the only one that are still having hope that Agnelli went in the locker room and he said, guys, wake up, because that 10th is to win? Marco.
I mean, I agree with both. I agree with Giovanni and I agree with Adam. I mean, my prediction has been Inter to win. And like, if you made me, say, oh, guess one, I would say Inter. That doesn't mean Juventus is not going to win or that they can't come back. But if you're making me make a prediction, that's my prediction. I just think that
it's an obvious choice, isn't it?
It's 100%. And like, based off of what they've done, like, look at the team. The coach has been a winner. He's won before. Like, Juventus, I feel like in the past or this year, going into this season, the expectations were not managed properly. Like, I expected these kind of problems, like right now. Like Adam said, we got a new coach. If you wanted to win that 10th, yes, you keep Sarri and you keep Allegri, they'll probably win. Like, honestly. And I think even like the reliance on Ronaldo, like I saw people criticizing Ronaldo's performance this game. I mean, how many times do we have to rely on Ronaldo to be the only one that performs for the team? And now he doesn't perform once, and we're relying on that. And I feel like there's been underlying problems. Like I've seen these problems, these midfield problems for a long time, been saying the players are not at that level. But when you have that, like a guy like Ronaldo who will score goals and then you throw it away, you win the game and then you're not going to talk about the problems. So now when he doesn't show up, okay, now you're seeing how evident everything else around him is.
Guys, we have some people, Crazy Ray, who's saying, and Christine, I want you to enter that one. Should we just say we don't care? And no, not in front of the cameras, but in the locker room, we don't care. And we focus on Champions League. For me, Champions League, you can't just focus on Champions League. There are so many variables, but Christine.
I laughed at that because if we were ever in a position to just focus on Champions League, it's not now. It's like we can just barely keep our heads above water at this point.
Let's be clear, Christine.
To everybody's prior points, and I agree with everybody. Yes, like management change and everything, but it also wasn't planned. I don't care what anybody says. That was abrupt and it was impetuous, and it was exactly the opposite of what Juve have ever done. So we're fixing what we did. This is not like nobody woke up and said, let's hire Pirlo, who's never managed a single match in his life.
But even when it comes to the minute where Sarri has to go, if you absolutely want to win the 10th title, you still don't make the choice for Pirlo.
I 100% agree with you. But we didn't have the money to make any other decision. We shot ourselves in the foot at that point.
Still paying Allegri.
Right. I know, but that's why we have Pirlo. Because there's no way we would have found the same amount of money to pull out of our, like, whose organs are we selling?
You could get Allegri back if that's the thing.
Right, I agree with you. What I'm saying is, like, we got stuck with what we got, and so I don't know how else we would have been managing expectations. And also, we've talked about this before, our entire fan base is a bunch of petulant children. We cry over everything.
Including us.
I include myself in that. I am constantly complaining about something. I try to be optimistic, but that's just reflective of all of the rest of the fan base. So absolutely not. Are you going to get on TV or walk up to a presser as Pirlo or anyone else in the organization and say anything other than we're going for 10? Are you out of your mind? Like, you might as well just commit suicide on the podium. Like, they will literally tear you limb from limb. There's no losing. And so I think that no matter where we are in this entire season, somebody's going to be unhappy. But, like, lie to me and let me be unhappy. I'm okay with them putting out these positive messages and saying that, like, Pirlo had a chat and there's no excuses. Fine, there's no excuses. But in all reality, I think that some of us, I won't speak for everyone, realize that that's not realistic.
Yeah, and I think
Pirlo is the last problem of Juventus, honestly, because if you're gonna analyze defense, midfield, strikers, and so on, you immediately see that the level is not the level of 5 years ago. It's not the level of 3 years ago. Is this level? We're talking about a team who got out from the Champions League against Lyon, against Ajax, with all respect for this team, but Juventus, until 2018, was out from the Champions League just against Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and has been the only team to beat Real Madrid in the incredible circle that Real Madrid did, winning. There has been only one team kicking out Real Madrid from Champions League in the semi-final when they then lost the final in Berlin. This has been Juventus. So that was the level of that Juventus. And in this moment, Juventus has a huge technical problem. If you analyze player by player, you immediately see. If you do the best lineup, Juventus against Inter on Sunday night, there's not a single one that you can say, I go, okay, Cristiano, of course, I go straight for this player because this is the best of the two. There's not a single one, and that's the reality of Juventus nowadays.
I wouldn't agree with that.
I think that's a little bit harsh, because I think you take Ronaldo over Lukaku. I think you take Morata over Lautaro as well.
Chesney.
Chesney
over Handanovic.
And Chesney, absolutely. I think the problem for me is that, like we were talking before, Marco and Giuseppe said about did Agnelli go in the dressing room and tell the players enough, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. He can go in the dressing room, he can smash their heads together, he can do whatever he wants. He still can't make Bonucci be able to defend in a high line. He still can't make Bentancur be a football player.
If I may, Adam,
just
can you
can't.
speak us about this one? Because that's where I wanted to go. And I think you are in the perfect timing to explain me this one. Because I think it's even your signature, the red circle.
Yeah.
So whose fault is it? Because this is really, is it Pirlo? Is it the players? Because
it's the players. Okay, so I put just to explain the image. I put this up because just after this, after the Arturo Vidal header, which there he is heading, the camera cut to Alvaro Morata. Telling Federico Chiesa that he could have prevented that goal if he was in the right position, which sounds like something I might have said on this program a couple of times before. But if you put the image back up, what you can also see, obviously, is the Juve midfield stood in a line watching Vidal run past them and score the header. So the fault of the goal is Rabiot and Bentancur for letting Vidal run beyond them and score. My actual point with the tweet was, even though those players, Bentancur and Rabiot, two experienced international midfielders who should know their job properly, even though they made mistakes, I thought it was really good that a player like Morata, experienced again, lots been around the world, played everywhere, Spain international, pulled up a young player, Federico Chiesa, and said, actually, look, yo, ciao Luca. Said, you were in the wrong place there and you should have got back and you could have helped by covering Ashley Young at the far post. Then Danilo could have picked up Vidal. And I think that's really good from a squad morale, spirit, all of that they still care enough to be picking each other up. Absolutely, the goal is the fault of Rabiot and Bentancur, but I still think it's good from a squad point of view that a veteran player like Morata is trying to help the kid Chiesa to learn his job because he clearly doesn't know it yet.
Look at that. Ciao, Luca. Welcome.
Ciao. Hi, all. It's a pleasure. So I just came here to say good luck for tomorrow, guys. And there are strong confirmations about Kulusevski starts and not Morata, and Ramsey and Rabiot starts from the bench for sure. They pay their tax for the match in San Siro. So, and the plan is to have the best from Morata in the last 30 minutes, and eventually on the eventually if we go overtime, okay. And so I think that will be a very tough match for us. And this cup is so heavy. I didn't.
Have you held it?
Yeah, it's very heavy. I held it at the museum. Yes.
Beautiful.
Luca, can you confirm? Is it this formation that we will see tomorrow?
Oh, so I have a surprise for you.
Where is
Kenny? Where is Kenny?
No. Hi, Giovanni. How are you? Oh my God. So I talked with him this morning. So the surprise is that this is the formation. This is what the players have in the mind, so they know this is the formation. But tomorrow morning, Quadrado will have a new test, and if it will be negative, in Turin here, they talk about a sudden trip in Reggio Emilia for Quadrado, and go on the bench. And I mean, I can't think we absolutely need Quadrado to win this match. I can't think about it. But I'm sure we need some more weapons in our bench, because it's this team is not so it's not so how can I say? Aiutami tu, Giuseppe. Questa squadra non è coerente dentro la partita, quindi sicuramente sarà una partita con alti e bassi, sicuro. E quindi nel momento in cui tu hai bisogno di chiamare alle armi gente dalla panchina, hai bisogno di gente con esperienza. Allora Morata, allora Quadrado sarebbe importante, e non solo i ragazzi.
Per quelli che capiscono l'italiano, l'avete capito da Luca immediatamente, perché è una trasmissione che ogni tanto parliamo le due lingue. Però for the one that doesn't understand it, I think it's more important also. So the team that we have today, we will see ups and downs, and that will happen always, and also tomorrow, because we don't have really that coherent team that is really consistent. So what we need also in a game that we can go until the 120th minute, maybe, we need people with experience on the bench, like a Morata, like a Quadrado, that can enter and change it.
Okay. Perfect.
Wow, I know.
So
Giuseppe, when we're done with the anticipation about tomorrow, I have a question for Luca about what we discussed before. Or in the middle, between the 10th Scudetto in a row and the market. So Luca, we were discussing about the situation. So Juventus has to win the 10th Scudetto in a row. Why they look for a player like Scamacca, who is a potential player, if they have to win now? If you want to win now, you need someone like you're saying now about Quadrado. You want to win a final, you need players like Quadrado ready to go. But if you look for a player that will be ready in 1 year, in 2 years, why they gonna look for Scamacca? That's my question. That's what I don't understand about Juventus in this moment.
I understand it's gonna be a weird choice, for our idea of what this team is lack of experience sometimes. Okay. Also, so the great void is Ramsey and Rabiot, because they are experienced player. They have curriculum. They played so many big matches and constantly for Arsenal, for Paris Saint-Germain. So why they are so bad? This question is no answer. So Scamacca, I talked with his agent today. They didn't receive any call, but they know they are aware that if Juventus calls, it's gonna be in 2 hours. They're gonna be in Turin. So, but there is no deal with the player just now. But I mean, if Juventus and Sassuolo,
but Luca, do you agree?
Are taking a deal tomorrow, maybe they are not only talking about Scamacca.
But do you agree that the player is not the player Juventus need in this moment to win immediately? Do you agree with me?
Yeah, but if Scamacca is going for Juventus, in Juventus, we support Scamacca.
Of course you support Scamacca. What do you want? Poor guy, what he
Luca,
did to you.
I mean, that was a bit the debate that we had. Do you think that Juventus, they want still to go for the 10th, or do you think that it was like Adam was saying, like a bit because they left me alone? They were saying, Giuseppe, we know the situation, and in front of the microphone we go for the 10th, but behind we maybe realize the situation. What is your opinion, Luca? We still believe in it, because that's the title of today. 55 points to win the 10th. Do you believe in it, Luca?
It's not a problem if I believe or not. The problem is. The problem
He's
is
still
if,
there.
I love
if-
Luca's
if-
answers, man.
if
Are you standing
players,
for election?
No.
I love
in-
Luca's
in my-
answers.
So
in
diplomatic.
my
Very
job,
political.
in my job, I have to understand if players believe or not. This is the crucial point. Okay, so that's why I told this cup is so heavy, not because it's a final and there is a trophy, okay, but for the things that's gonna happen in the next days, because we can't leave any more points with Bologna or Crotone or Benevento or Verona or your choice. Okay, we can't. And winning tomorrow means to take a trophy in Pirlo's Bacheca, okay, but means winning on Sunday and start again. We have an engine, and we are trying to start every time, and this can be the right time. Pirlo said this match comes in the right moment. Okay, this is the moment. This is the moment for Supercoppa, but this is the moment for the championship, because players then can if players have doubt about this project in January, we have a big problem.
So do you think the players do believe?
It's so important. It's important to not repeat what we saw on Sunday night in San Siro.
Mm-hmm.
So, but do you think the players do still believe in the 10 or not?
Oh,
They believe, but they're not good enough. Come on. They believe.
No.
It's easy to believe. Come on. The problem is to be good.
They believe, but I think Italian players are impressed about Milan and Inter. Italian players for two reasons. One, because there's Conte, and Italian players in Juventus know Conte so well. If they think if Conte takes the lead, that's going to be a great problem. So Milan now is good for us if Milan is in the first position. If Conte takes the lead with other 5 or 6 wins in a row, that's going to be a great problem. This is what Italian players think about it. And the other thing is Milan can be the real surprise. And when you realize that Milan can really win Scudetto, it's too late. Okay, so I think that the not Italian players are convinced. They don't think about what's going on in the next in the other teams. Okay, so we need to win this trophy and don't think about the other teams. So I mean, Ronaldo, De Ligt, Quadrado, Alexandro are the real key players. Mm-hmm. These are the real key players because they're only thinking about if we are winning the matches, we are winning the trophy. So they have a simple way of thinking. Italian players, they have a complex way of thinking. When they think about Milan and Inter, they believe relatively in this championship. So that's why it's a heavy cup. It's a heavy cup,
and that makes it really difficult too, because the Supercoppa traditionally is a trophy where if you win, it's a Super Cup, so what? But if you lose, you lost to Napoli. So and now that's even more.
Yeah. When Sarri lost the Super Cup.
And Allegri.
In that moment began a new era. When Allegri lost the Super Cup in Doha against Milan, there was not a big real problem for us, okay? But in Juventus, there was a strong fight, and Evra was surprising left the team after 2 days. Because every time you are playing a final in Juventus and you lose the final, something remains, something something happens, okay? So that's why I want to win this trophy 1-0, penalty, Ronaldo in the last minutes. That's so good. We need just not to repeat what happened Sunday, and in a manner or another manner, we have to win this trophy. Then start again the engine and start with Bologna, our new championship.
Can I ask Luca
a new tournament.
Do you think, Luca, that the key man of the rest of the season and starting from tomorrow can be Arthur? Can he be the key of the change of Juventus from tomorrow?
No.
That was amazing. No.
Okay.
No, I can say.
You ask a question.
I dream it can happen, really, but I don't believe in this. I don't have to believe in this, because if we depend on Arthur, what a risk for us.
It's not a problem of Arthur. The problem
in 4 months, okay?
He's a Melo.
He's a Melo.
He's a Melo. So when Juventus meet Melo, is always a problem. Always.
I want to say last thing, then I have to go. Arthur is not in a perfect fit tomorrow. He's gonna play, but they told me he's 70% of his condition. So it's so risky. We need to take the ball in his feet, play in place simple. Don't have to take the risk tomorrow, because in this how can I say, the opponent before in front of Arthur is gonna be Zielinski. Zielinski is the best Napoli player, and he is the perfect player that can create problems for on Juventus. Zielinski plays in a role. He's in a perfect fit now. He plays in a key role that we suffer so much. That role,
with Barella, is the same.
Barella, and then I think about Çalhanoğlu that create us so many problems, and Traoré. And Zielinski is gonna cross his legs with Arthur. So we need to help Arthur to stay in the match in the first minutes. But I know that he is not 100% form and he's gonna play. They say he plays tomorrow. Yeah, is a key duel. So
can I ask Luca a question?
Rome made 7.
Yeah, 4-2 Roma.
They made
6 substitutions.
They made 6 substitutions confirmed. I'm looking on one football.
They just scored. They literally just scored. Luca, let me ask you a question, because you know I know you get scared whenever I start asking questions. I know the last time you tried leaving because I try to hit the hard hitting ones, but I'm not gonna let you leave now because I heard you said you were about to. Listen, the midfield. Tell me something. Are we talking to anybody? There's a name that I have in my head, but is there anything?
He said already. You pay attention when he was talking about Sassuolo.
Okay, I'm getting to mine. A top midfielder like somebody like De Paul is the name that I'm trying to hear from you.
Bye, guys. Bye, Christine. Bye, Adam.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao, Luca.
Ciao, Luca.
Ciao, Luca.
He always does this at the end.
I love when Luca comes in, because he comes in, he destroy everything. I call it, a beautiful destruction of the organization. But it's nice because he said really interesting thing. Is Arthur the key change of the season? And the answer was no. So don't trust too much Arthur, guys.
He also made a nice Locatelli hint if you go back and listen to what he actually said.
He made, because if we go back and if you really read between the lines, you really hear that he was saying Scamacca, yes, but it's not the only player that we will probably talk about. Then
Maybe
yes,
sending
no.
Demiral back to Sassuolo because he's always injured.
That's another big problem, huh? Christine, I don't know if you follow today. Demiral is not there. I know that we discussed about it a few weeks ago. Demiral was not happy with his play time. We said that he was always injured. Tomorrow is not. No, today he's already not traveling with the team. You think again it's something because he's nervous, or you think it's really physical? And in that case, what do we do with the defender of Juve for the next 10 years?
No, we did talk about this, and I legitimately think that the kid wants to leave. And I think that's the other issue that's been sort of entangled with everything. He otherwise should be playing tomorrow. I mean, anybody? No, like I don't see a reason why he wouldn't be, especially given what just happened in the last match. I mean, if we're not using him, what are we doing? He's healthy. He's not there. Like,
But the only two positions he can play is instead of Bonucci or Chiellini. You need Chiellini. We saw that on Sunday. So
right.
so you're playing him instead of Bonucci?
I mean, devil's advocate, what could go worse?
No, I agree. I agree. But he's the captain.
Like, I'm smiling because but like I'm being dead serious. If you're gonna do it, and I understand the stigma of like, oh, we would have lost the Supercoppa like a bunch of idiots, but why not tomorrow? And so I feel like this is kind of going to be a pivotal point where they're going to have to say something. This is too obvious. You know what I mean? Like he's healthy.
Guys, I think honestly that it's not a problem of single players or so on. It's the manager here that has to decide what's the hierarchy, because when you build up a team, when you want to build a new era for the team and so on, you have to decide, okay, I start from this, and this player. And in this moment, the two players Juventus has to be focused on for the defenses are Bonucci and Demiral, and that's it. And then there will be, De Ligt and Demiral. And then there will be Bonucci, and then there will be Chiellini when he will be available. Chiellini remembers me, honestly, Vincent Kompany. I hope he will score the goal like Vincent Kompany did against Leicester, because that's what Chiellini is in this moment. A real leader, a real great player. You can have him for one match against Inter, but, I mean, are we sure that he's going to perform like this in the next 10? Probably not in the next 5, even not in the next 5. That's Chiellini in this moment. So you have to decide, and you have to pick two. And in this moment, Pirlo has to be brave enough to say De Ligt and Demiral, and that's it. And come on, guys, if De Ligt and Demiral from now until the end of the season are not good enough to play at Juventus, then they will decide to move on to other players in the transfer market. But the decision has to be made and has to be clear, and it's a hierarchy decision.
I agree.
I don't think it's a matter of De Ligt not being good enough. He's just sick right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Of course. No. But I mean,
a number of things this season that are completely out of our control. Which, that's injuries aside, a really packed schedule, and then COVID on top of that. So we are looking forward. I think that, in terms of what Pirlo's been doing, he's been playing the kids. He's been looking at the youth. I don't think that this is like a myopic thing. I think that he's looking down the road. So to what G said earlier, it's not just a matter of we're taking this one on the chin and agreeing to lose 10, etc.
On the other hand, Christine, on the other hand, it's more difficult, I believe, for Pirlo to take out of the team Bonucci than letting McKennie play, Portanova, and these kind, because Bonucci is really, someone that is actually the captain now, because
but also, sorry,
I think that we talked about this too, is that we need to keep some of the, what I'd call like the grandpas, in and around just for morale's purposes. we need the leaders there. This is also why, and not just because I am extremely partial, but like when you throw Gigi in goal, there's a different feeling on
I
the
agree
pitch.
with you on that.
Okay, like
Yeah, and
Very vocal.
I think the one thing I would say with this whole Demiral saga situation, whatever, is it's very similar to what happened with Benatia. Juve had Benatia. They were playing Benatia. He was really important. Then Bonucci came back from Milan, and Benatia was pushed aside and left. And he was much better than Bonucci, and he should have been playing.
Adam, there's a difference here. Demiral is a 21-year-old player who's growing up. Benatia is a player who came from Roma, and you already know that Benatia is a player for 3 over 5 matches on top, and then sometimes he does mistakes, and of course Benatia on top. But you know, it's Juventus, so you have to be a player that is always there for 40-45 matches per year. So that's what you expect from a player. Benatia, you already knew what to expect from him. Demiral is a player that is growing up. I always say, I had the opportunity to say this in the Italian version with Luca in the afternoon. No, weeks ago. The problem is that when Bonucci and Chiellini were Demiral and De Ligt age, they weren't like them. Bonucci, when he was at De Ligt age, 23, he was at Inter Milan, doing the bench at Inter Milan. So this is the kind of player Juventus have in this moment, De Ligt and Demiral. And they have to be and I wasn't, because Christine then replied to me, but I want to just make a point here. It's not that De Ligt is not good enough for Bonucci or so on, but if you look at what De Ligt does best when Bonucci doesn't play and De Ligt is the number one in the defense, you see the real De Ligt. That's the only problem. And of course, Bonucci is the captain, but you know, time goes on for everyone.
We had Luca on the live, and he took a lot of things. But I want to finish with one big topic, and it's an important one. And I want to start then with Marco, and we do the round, because that's really an important one. Today I was reading all the papers as usual, and I came up to that kind of small article about Ronaldo, and they were saying Pirlo il paradosso della delega in bianco a CR7, and then the article had nothing to do with the title, but they're actually saying that, and I will try to explain a bit in a few words, so don't get crazy after me. But what they are explaining is that in the past, Juventus was a team that bought players and they became Ballon d'Or, like Pirlo, like Platini, Nedved, Baggio, and so on and so on. Then they had another strategy to buy a Ballon d'Or, a multiple Ballon d'Or. And they are explaining in a few words that Ronaldo has a lot of power on the field, off the field. So my question, guys, to you, starting with Marco, if we look at the 360 degree, and I don't want to speak about the last few games where he was probably out of shape, or I don't know, because who cares about that? But after 2 years and a half of Ronaldo, is it for you more a problem today, or is it really a benefit that really benefited Juventus on the field and also as a company?
I mean, off the field, it's so evident. I mean, he's grown Juventus so much, especially over here in the United States. But I don't see it as him as a problem at all. I think that the problem is, if you look back when Juventus, when this is what hurts, this is what really like tugs at my heart, is if you look at Juventus when they're in the Champions League final, right, against Barcelona, you know, you watch that match and you understand that the quality difference was there, right? But that was a Juventus that had heart. If you watch that midfield, the way that we played, it embodied that Juventus. We probably lacked somebody that had a real spirit, like a Ronaldo. If you do a Ronaldo in that team, then that's a real squad. In my opinion, maybe we do rely on Ronaldo too much. I would agree with that. But it's more so everything around him. I mean, we haven't had a midfield in years. If you built that into the team, then you'll see the real thing. So to put everything on Ronaldo is crazy. You said on and off the field. Off the field is without a discussion. It's very clear. And on the field, he's given a mentality to some of the guys that don't have that mentality. my opinion, it's complacency. It's complacency from the rest of the squad and the way that we built the squad around Ronaldo. It's not Ronaldo himself.
Who has other opinions than Marco? Because if we look at trophies, and I'm a defender of Ronaldo, especially because I'm more a company guy, a corporate guy that look at the 360, and sometimes for me it's even more important what we are doing outside than inside. Sometimes, not always, but it's true that if you compare trophies the last 2 years and the one before, or before the Ronaldo era, where we were able to win Coppa Italia, Supercoppa, Scudetto, and now we are only pay attention with Scudetto. Christine, Adam, Giovanni. I see that Giovanni doesn't. I really doesn't want to answer that question.
No, I find honestly, no, but not for you. I completely understand the discussion, but it's really silly to discuss about Ronaldo, because I mean, 6 playoff matches of Juventus in the Ronaldo era in 2 years. Ronaldo scored 7 and no one scored a single goal. So what's the problem? It's Ronaldo. The problem is that around Ronaldo, there's players not good enough. That's it. Full point. Because, for example, let's talk about Dybala. We remember one great match of Dybala against Barcelona 3 or 4 years ago, and that's it. Let's talk about the midfield. Juventus has a midfield that doesn't score at all. Let's go talk about the defenders. The defenders are okay, but then they concede. I mean, that's Juventus in the last 2 years, and Ronaldo is the only thing that keeps Juventus going on in Champions League, but out against Lyon, out against Ajax, because even Ronaldo doesn't do miracles if around him there are no player good enough to go on in Champions League. And it's always, guys, it's football. It's all I understand heart, strength, believe in things and so on. Football is about players fit. If you're good, you play football. If you're not good enough, you don't play football. And in Juventus, in the Juventus team, in this moment, there are players not at the level they need to be. There are some players very interesting that probably in 2 or 3 years will be at that level. But there are players who will never be there. If you want, I give you the names. Ramsey will never be a player to win the Champions League. Rabiot. You can't be a international level midfield if you do some matches okay, if you don't do the offensive part and the defensive part, because nowadays a midfielder has to be completely in every sense. In the defense of Juventus is absolutely to change in some ways, as I said before. And then the strikers, you don't have Juventus, for example, doesn't have a Fernando Llorente, a third striker who comes in and can change something. And there are no different qualities from a technical point of view. These are the problems, and all technical problems. And it's not about Pirlo, and of course, it's not about Ronaldo if you have players not good enough.
Christine's face every time somebody insults Ramsey is hilarious. I've been watching you. Anytime there's a Ramsey comment, I just look at Christine's face because I know she's about to go.
It's involuntary.
By the way, guys, the
to
chat
me, it's just low hanging fruit.
90% of the people. Go for it, Adam. Sorry.
The whole discussion it comes back to the same thing. We go round and round in circles. Oh, is Ronaldo the problem? Get the fuck out of here. Is Ronaldo the problem? He's the best or the second best player in the world. If he's a problem, then that's not your problem. Seriously. Well, the problem is, right? No, the problem is when the team doesn't work properly, Cristiano Ronaldo scores a goal and bails you out. Oh, is he too important? No, he's just doing his job and nobody else is. That's the problem. And then the other problem that keeps coming back, 2 things. We come up all the time with they don't have the heart, they don't have the grit. That's nonsense to me. Like a professional football team, in 99% of cases, every player is trying.
Did it look like is trying against Inter?
That was a shit.
Yeah, of course. Yes, they're trying. The whole notion of they're not trying is utter nonsense. They're professionals. Of course, they're trying.
It's not about trying. No, it's not the trying aspect. It's about the heart that they show.
No,
They did not show heart. It is. If you watch the Juventus, how they evolved from 2012, 13, 14, 15,
because
today,
the thing
there's a
is,
huge difference.
No,
There's a huge
because
difference.
what you're doing, right, Marco? What you're doing is you're saying in 2015 in the Champions League final, Juve had heart, and now they don't. No, in 2015 they had Marquisio, Vidal, and Pirlo, and now we have Rabiot and Bentancur. That's not about heart. Rodrigo
There's aspects to that are.
It's about fit of the players.
No,
it's not heart. It's quality. It's quality and fit.
I absolutely agree, and I was saying about those specific players, but there is that aspect to it that the spirit it was not there, and if you can't see that, I mean, it's clear that the spirit.
If I can't see it, it's not about a question of see it. The players try. It's the laziest analysis in the world to go, this team doesn't care, that team doesn't try. What a load of crap.
Marco, today
they're professionals. Christine, you've played the game. Tell me, right? Teams try. 99% of players, they're trying. They might not be good enough. They might not. Occasionally, a player might not care, but they might not fit the system. And always the analysis. Oh, they don't care. The
quality analysis to me speaks for itself. It's been evident that those are not players at the same level. I think that's
no, Marco, that's
been obvious for 2 years.
That's a different point.
We're agreeing on that, but it's going beyond that. After that aspect, what you could say.
Marco, go explain.
No. I mean, to me, it's already a foregone conclusion. I mean, it's not been explained now that Bentancur and Rabiot are not good players. I mean, I've said this for a very long time. To me, it's already a foregone conclusion that. But at the same time, the rest is lacking. So it's not that we're disagreeing on that. We do agree, and that's very evident. But I thought we were past that point. To me, we knew how those players have been. Nothing has changed.
But to say we're not trying,
it's inconsistent this whole season, no matter how good or bad we are. And I will absolutely fight anybody that says that our team is shit or the players are individually shit. We can't seem to get it together sometimes. We've got people out of position. We got people out on smoke breaks in the middle of the fucking midfield. Things happen, okay? We're not at our best all the time, but I do think we're always trying. And to say that we aren't would diminish Vidal, Brozovic, and Barella's efforts in that intermatch, which I don't want to give them any goddamn credit, but they literally bossed us, okay?
Yeah, I agree.
Rabiot and Betancourt were absent. They could have taken a nap.
I agree.
Issues. We continue to have issues.
To me, the biggest issue is the players who don't fit what Pirlo is trying to do. And Bentancur and Bonucci are top of that list. You can talk. You want to swap a player. If you swap, not even Barella, if you swap Vidal the way that he played on Sunday for Bentancur, and you swap Skriniar for Bonucci, Juve wins that game. Purely because they're better players, purely because they fit better.
Adam, some weeks ago, Ogbonna was talking about Pirlo and so on. And he was joking, of course, but he was really right, saying when you want to do some kind of style like Pirlo wants, you always need a Pirlo into the ground, into the pitch. So that's exactly it. If you have a Pirlo, you can do this kind of game. Because when you have a Bentancur, which is a...
Yes, you're 100% right.
Bentancur is a nice player, but he plays... And we can remember also Allegri saying that, Bentancur is fine, but he has to do some more goals, some more strike from the outside of the box.
Years ago,
some more assists. That's the problem. Just want to say one thing to you, Marco. I understand the spirit, the run, and so on. But I was discussing with a guy today on Twitter who was saying, but they were walking against Inter. Yeah, of course, it looks like that you walk when the opponents are better than you. But for example, against Milan, Juventus did the same run, 110 kilometers against AC Milan and 115 against Inter. So they did more run against Inter than against Milan, and they won 3-1. And there was the same average of speed, and there was, because those are numbers that you can easily find on the Italian league website. So same speed, more kilometers and more fast run and less jog and so on. So it's very
In one
difficult
match
to
you're playing against
understand. I think
Calabria.
a
Well,
professional player, when he's playing, he gives everything every time. But sometimes the opponents are better than you, and you lose matches. And it's not about the heart; it's about the fit.
Pirlo said it really well. He said, instead of thinking of building the game and thinking about how we could do, after that first goal, we were thinking about how to catch Inter. And this is one of the big mistakes that happened. And I totally agree with you. We probably run the same kilometers, we did the same speed, but we were doing it like Melozzo 18 is saying, really wrong. We were wrong because we didn't know what to do, and we were more concentrated on how to block Inter than thinking ourselves, and we were doing everything wrong.
Because it's football, Giuseppe. Because it's football, not volleyball. In volleyball, you have the net in the middle, and you do your game, and they do their game. In football, you are mixed up, and if they're better than you, you lose matches.
That's the thing.
That's how it works.
Juve pretty much played the same against Milan as they played against Inter, but one team has Barella in midfield and the other team has Calabria. It's not about the problems are still there, and that's what Marco said right at the beginning. It was a great point that even when Juve have won sometimes this season, it's not been great.
And also, Adam, one very important point, because we were discussing about Guardiola and Pirlo before. When Guardiola arrived to Man City, everyone knew that in 1 year all the defenders were gonna change, all the left back and right back, and that was pretty clear at Juve at Man City, that there was a plan. In 2 years we're gonna change this. We change it all, the strikers first, and then we're gonna change. And they got like 150 million for 3 or 4 left back and right back. Okay, because they had a plan. My question now is, does Juventus have a plan? Because I have the impression that Juventus is not doing proper market since like 2 years now. I say since Pogba, because to me the problem starts with Pogba sold to Real Madrid, when they tried to change the level of the market and so on. To me, has been a huge mistake. But the question in this moment is, do they have a plan? That's why I asked before to Luca, because I don't see a logical effect in what they're doing in the transfer market. I'm not a transfer market journalist, but if I follow what's happening, I can't understand why Scamacca, why one day we talk about Quagliarella and then Scamacca. Is it the same player? Come on, there's not a plan. There's not a view. That's the point.
No, and I think that ties up a lot of what we've been talking about tonight, because I think, first of all, you have to say that the January transfer market is what it is. Whoever comes, they come. It's not going to fix anything. And some rumors like Quagliarella, and then it's Scamacca, is some information doesn't get out, and you find out half a story, and whatever's in the paper. It's like we were saying about Agnelli talking, blah blah blah, whatever. The rumors in the press are the rumors in the press. But I think it comes back to what Christine said right at the beginning. In Pirlo's appointment was rushed, so the team doesn't fit him now. So it's only going to be in the summer when we find out if they've actually got a plan to make it work for Pirlo, and if they stick with it. And whatever happens with the title between now and then is whatever happens. We need to see if, given a full summer without the COVID issue, without trying to cram the season in, all of that, they'll have the full summer. Do they get the players that Pirlo needs? And then, crucially, the flip side of that, do they get rid of the players like Bonucci and Bentancur who don't fit? I think there's a lot of players in this squad. We can talk about the gaps and the holes and whatever, but there's a lot of players who, like Danilo, De Ligt, Chiellini as a pinch hitter to come in whenever you need him in a big match. McKennie, obviously. Artur, maybe. Like Luca said, maybe. Kulusevski is great quality. Morata is a good striker to play with Ronaldo. Ramsey can sub for McKennie when McKennie's not good to go, or the other way around, whichever. So there's a lot of players who do fit, but then that leaves 2 very big holes, one in centre defence and one in centre midfield. I think the centre midfield issue, I've gone back to this a couple of times, but it's not a midfield the way that Juve are playing, where Juve need to go and spend 60, 70 million to get this perfect player who's going to come in like Locatelli and fix everything. Somebody made a comment earlier just in the comments about the pressing not working. They want a team that's going to go and press like an Atalanta, like a Liverpool. And I've said this before. Liverpool are winning Champions League. Liverpool are winning Champions League and winning the Premier League with Gigi Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson, and James Milner in midfield. Now, we can laugh, but
no. But I mean, I completely.
He's of that level.
It's like Milner is like
also, you know what? Also, Adam, I was also analyzing the Liverpool transfer market. As you probably understand, I prefer to talk about Premier League than Italian Serie A. But
it's a good comparison, though.
Yeah, but I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold from the academy, Robertson, Hull City, Van Dijk, Southampton, Wijnaldum, Newcastle. Then who came in Fabinho and Keita in Leipzig. So they didn't transfer market with the top clubs. They didn't go to Barcelona to buy someone like Arthur. They didn't go. They just choose the right players in the right position who were fitting in a mentality, who were fitting in a style.
Yes, but they also give Klopp the time to do that.
And they did it in 5 years. Exactly.
That wasn't always the case.
You get to that level. And this is what Juventus cannot, it's in a mentality thing in Italy, yeah? Because otherwise, but Klopp, when he arrived, Liverpool was not winning the title since so long. Champions League, not even. So he had all the time in the world to settle and to do it. And I just want to go back in one thing, because I saw some comments about Pirlo is not blah, blah, blah. But he asked for two players specifically, McKennie, and today it's the one that is, Christine, but he's the one that is really performing. It's McKennie, because he's doing the style of play that he wants. And then we have Morata, where I didn't really believe in, but at the moment he's doing the job because he's doing what Pirlo is looking for. Arthur, even Kulusevski, that I really believe in, these players were not bought for him. And I think that this is maybe one of the mistakes of Juventus. And then we go to what Giovanni is saying, Adam. I agree with you. We are buying players because there are really nice opportunities. And and this is a philosophy of
Juventus. This is the thing. It's now, those players came before Pirlo, Arthur, Kulusevski. So now we have to see what they do for Pirlo. And the other thing, to go to what you just said, is yes, Liverpool gave Klopp time, Man City gave Guardiola time, Bayern Munich gave Guardiola time, Barcelona gave Guardiola time, Real Madrid, Zidane came in and finished off a job started by somebody else, Ancelotti, but he still had time. And you hear, for all we've talked tonight about Andrea Agnelli said he wants the 10. Andrea Agnelli has said he wants to be like Real Madrid. He wants to be like Barcelona. He wants to be like a Pep Guardiola team. He wants Juve to be at the top. Well, and then you said, but in Italy, that's not the way. Well, if you want to be like Real Madrid and Barcelona, then you can't be like Inter or Milan. You have to be like Real Madrid or Barcelona. So if you don't give Pirlo time, you're never going to be like Real Madrid and Barcelona. You're going to be like Milan and Inter. You win today, lose tomorrow.
That's exactly, Adam, you're totally right. That's exactly why when I talk with Juventus supporters and they tell me, yeah, because we are different, because 4 years with Conte, 5 years with Allegri and so on. 5 years with Allegri because he used to win. Managers has been confirmed when they used to win. Ranieri has not been confirmed. Del Neri went away after one season. Of course, sometimes you have to. I'm not defending everyone. But if you do a plan, you have to defend it in 1, 2, 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And that's it. When Giuseppe says, yeah, but in Italy. Yeah, but in Italy, if you are a strong club and if you back your manager and if you back your team and if you back your ideas because you appointed him, then you can be an international level team also in Italy. If you start to say like in Italy, I mean, I went away from Italy because in my newspaper they used to say, hey, but because in Italy, in Italy.
But then I think the one thing we have to say about Andrea Agnelli is he's done things not the Italian way all the time. He's changed the badge. He's made this decision. He's done this. He's talked about the European Super League. He's trying to do things not in Italy and then talk to the fans about doing it the way that they want to do it in Italy. So if he carries on doing what he's done and making the change and doing things different, that's great.
Adam, if you remember, when they appointed Conte, the Juventus plan was not to win immediately, and then they've been lucky. They won. They said 3 because now we need to improve the 7th and go back to Champions League. Then in a couple of years we can get there. And at Juventus, they know exactly one thing, which is the secret of Juve. Now I tell you the secret of Juventus. Why Juventus? No, that's real. Why Juventus win so much?
No, because
they don't plan to win. They plan to be from 85 points to 95. And then when you are there and you are constantly there, then you win. It's like Sir Alex Man United. For 20 years, they were already always there. Yeah, and they used to win at 85, sometimes 78, sometimes 93, sometimes 87. But every single year they were there. Arsenal was 1 year 95 and then 70 and then 60 and then 95 again. You win constantly being there. Napoli did a great thing 3 years ago when they did 91, but there was a team better. Liverpool did a great year doing 97, but there was one doing 98. I mean, that's the story of how you win titles. And that's what, for example, Inter Milan supporters struggle to understand, because they say Conte has to win and they don't realize that Conte last year did 82, like the year they did the triplete, because was 82 points in the season. To me, if this year Conte goes to 85, Pirlo goes from 80 to 85 to confirm what Juventus did last year. Pioli with Milan goes close to 80. Then someone will win, but that's the goal. That's how you settle goals for managers. You don't say, now we have to win because we spend money. Everyone spends money. Come on.
No, but I agree. I totally agree. And this is the philosophy always been of Juventus. Huh? Think 5-year plans, and we go. And we were discussing about that, by the way, Giovanni. Guys, we are about to end, or we are ending. Question for all of you. As always, the standard. We finish with a question, and while you are answering and giving your opinion, then you can also say hello to the great people that were in the chat. I love this one, by the way. It was a really great episode with humor, with fun, with Luca, with some diverse opinion. That was great. So my last question for you is really straight. Tomorrow, we win, we lose. Easy question. We start with Marco. Opinion. And I really want to know your opinion because that matters the most. And no, wait. Before Marco answering, what I wanted to do is congratulate Marco, because we did a contest, probably a lot of you already know, but we were competing against each other from the beginning until the end on Twitch for Pitch or Pitch for Twitch. I always mix them. But it was amazing to do. Marco, you were a great contender, and at the end we both won. So I'm more than happy. Thank you to be actually one of my competitors, because you pushed me to do so much better, and it's because I knew that I was facing you. So thank you for giving me that passion, Marco.
No, thank you. I think when in the semifinals, when you and I were together and we called each other that night before and we were talking and the chemistry was going, I think both of us were even mentioning that. So now you were amazing. You've got incredible supporters and all that. So and I agree. Same thing for you. As far as the question for the Napoli, so it's been you've had to digest this Inter loss. You know, at first, right after, I said, there's no way they're going to beat Napoli. So that was my prediction yesterday. That was my mindset, just so for the people that say, oh, you already predicted, I had Napoli winning. Now I've come down. I've settled. I feel like Juventus will respond. I hope they will, of course. Seeing the lineup that you have over there, I like the midfield a lot better, and I'm going to believe in the spirit. Not everybody believes in the spirit, but I believe in the spirit, and I say Juventus will win.
Thank you, Marco. I love when you end like that. It was really
Marco,
a pleasure.
to be fair, I believe in spirits as well. I like cognac. I like cognac and grappa a lot.
So does Arturo Vidal.
Giovanni, I'm scared of your answer, so you will not finish. You can answer immediately. I want to finish with someone that really believes in what that we will win. So, Giovanni, go for it. Tomorrow, what do you believe?
Me? No, I know.
Yeah.
I think Juventus is gonna win. Gonna
Okay,
win
that
like
is good.
2-0, and like Cristiano will score. Because if he doesn't, honestly, I don't see any other way. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Giovanni. It was really a pleasure to have you on in English. I loved
you
it.
so
I hope that you can be our guest again in the future. But thank you for that premiere. It was amazing. Adam, I don't know because Christine, most of the time she finished with a negative note. So I will take the risk. I will take
No,
the
go
risk.
to Christine. Go to
I go
Christine.
to Christine. Christine, what do you believe for tomorrow?
Wow, you think that I'm negative? This is offensive. So we're gonna win tomorrow, 2-1. You can all fight me if I'm wrong, or just yell at me as usual, because that's what the internet's best for. And whoever complained about my hair early on, I just want to address that. I was channeling big Texas energy. See, like the higher the hair, the closer to God. And we need all of the gods in our favor tomorrow. So when we win, you're welcome in advance. You can deal with my high pony, okay?
So if tomorrow you win, it's thanks to the hair of Christine because it will not be thanks to my
All of
hair,
this
guys.
extra power is going to go directly to Weston McKennie's feet. So
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah,
welcome.
that's how it works.
It is.
Tomorrow he will do a great game and he starts. I'm sure about that. Adam, don't ruin it because you let Christine start. So I'm counting on you guys.
Juve have to win. It doesn't matter if I think they'll win or not. To quote, take a page out of Luca's book before, it doesn't matter what I think. They have to win. They have to win. Listening to what Luca said about the team needs to feel like if they do what Pirlo wants, they'll win, and then they'll win. And then Marco will say that the passion and the effort was all there because they won, and everything will be good. Christine's big hair to the rescue.
Thank you. See?
Thank you,
All right,
guys. Guys, it was an amazing one. Really, I loved it. Andrea, that is always participating in the chat. Thank you, Andrea. And you know that you're in my agenda to have you as a guest, so you will be one of the next guests. But this year, I promised myself in 2021 to anticipate already. So I have already a quite full booked agenda, but you're on it. Tariq as well. Absolutely, thank you. Grazie, Paolo. Come sempre. No, it's true. I try to be better in 2021. Grazie Giacomo, grazie Adam, grazie to everyone. Thank you guys.
Tomorrow, guys, tomorrow I have to call Gigi to say that there is my Freddy Mon Amour because it's incredible this nickname. I like it so much.
my Freddy Mon Amour is always here, so probably next week he will be here normally. And when I saw his nickname,
yeah, he's got to come in and just pull up the Christine is always right sign for me. It's not the same effect when I just scream really loud.
I agree. No, my Freddy Mon Amour is the best nickname in the world. Grazie ragazzi, ciao, alla prossima.
Bye guys.
Ciao ciao.
See you guys.